Most people think getting what they want is about luck. They believe some people are just blessed, others are ignored. But the truth is different. What you receive in life is deeply connected to how you think, feel, and ask. Not just with words, but with belief, with clarity, with alignment. Many people ask for things while doubting at the same time. They hope and worry together. They desire and fear together. This mixed signal weakens results. This audiobook is about changing that pattern. It is about learning how to ask with clarity, with confidence, with inner certainty, not through force, not through manipulation, but through understanding how intention, belief, and action work together. If you want to keep learning how to align your mind with what you ask for, subscribe to this channel now. More audiobooks like this are released here regularly. Let us begin. Chapter 1. Understanding why most requests fail. Most people believe that asking is simple. You want something, you say it, you wait. When it does not happen, you assume one of two things. Either it was not meant for you, or you were not lucky. But there is a deeper reason many requests fail. It is not because the world is against you. It is because most people send mixed messages with their own mind. They ask with words, but they doubt with feelings. They hope with thoughts, but they fear with expectations. This inner conflict weakens direction. Imagine pressing the gas and the brake at the same time. The car moves slowly. The engine works harder. Progress feels difficult. Many people live this way internally. They say they want something, but part of them believes it will not happen. That part pulls in the opposite direction. The result is confusion. Not in the world, but in their own actions and signals. The first step is not learning how to ask better. The first step is learning how to stop canceling yourself. When you ask for something, your mind, body, and behavior must point the same way. If they do not, you send mixed energy into your life. This is not magic. It is psychology. It is focus. It is consistency. Your brain is a prediction machine. It constantly guesses what will happen next. Those guesses shape how you act. How you act shapes what you notice. What you notice shapes what you experience. If you secretly expect failure, you act differently. You hesitate. You avoid. You send weaker signals. You give up faster. Then when it does not work, you say, "See, it never works for me." But what really happened is this. Your expectations shaped your behavior. Behavior shaped outcome. This is why many people feel stuck. They are not unlucky. They are misaligned. They ask with hope, but they act with doubt. They want success, but they expect disappointment. They want yes, but they prepare for no. This inner split is quiet. Most people do not even notice it. They think they are fully committed, but their emotional system is not. Emotion is powerful. It guides attention. It guides effort. It guides persistence. If your emotion is fear, you pull back. If your emotion is trust, you lean forward. The world often responds more to your leaning than to your words. This is why two people can ask for the same thing. One receives it, one does not. It is not always fairness, it is alignment. Alignment means this: what you say, what you believe, what you expect, what you do, they all point in the same direction. When they do, your life becomes clearer. Your actions become stronger. Your signals become consistent. People respond to consistency. Opportunities respond to consistency. Even your own motivation responds to consistency. Another reason requests fail is lack of clarity. Many people ask in vague ways. They say things like, "I want to be successful. I want to be happy. I want more money." These are emotions, not direction. Your brain cannot move toward emotion. It moves toward pictures. It moves toward specific outcomes. If you say, "I want to be happy," your brain asks, "How? Where? With what?" If you cannot answer, your brain drifts. Drifting creates weak action. Weak action creates weak results. Clarity is not about being perfect. It is about being specific enough to move. Another reason requests fail is impatience. Many people ask and then immediately check. Is it working? Why is it not here yet? Maybe it will not happen. This checking sends a signal of doubt. Doubt changes behavior. When you doubt, you stop preparing. You stop acting as if it is possible. You stop noticing small steps forward. Progress often starts small. Doubt makes you miss it. Then you think nothing is happening, but something was happening. You just were not aligned enough to see it. Another hidden reason requests fail is identity. How you see yourself matters. If you see yourself as someone who never gets what they want, your brain tries to prove that identity, not on purpose, automatically. You avoid risks. You expect rejection. You interpret neutral events as negative. Identity is powerful. It filters reality. If your identity says, "I am not someone who gets yes," you will hear no more often. Not because the world hates you, but because your perception and behavior follow identity. Changing results requires changing identity, not with fake confidence, with small evidence. You act a little more aligned. You notice small wins. You update your self-image. I am someone who can get results. That belief changes how you show up. Another reason requests fail is fear of disappointment. Some people lower their expectations to protect themselves. They say, "I do not want to get my hopes up." This feels safe emotionally, but it weakens commitment. When you do not fully hope, you do not fully try. Half hope creates half effort. Half effort creates half results. Then you say, "I knew it would not work," but you never fully gave it a chance. Another reason requests fail is mixed goals. You want two opposite things. You want success, but you also want comfort. Success often requires discomfort. If you choose comfort emotionally, you sabotage success behaviorally. Then you blame circumstances. But the real conflict was inside. Alignment means choosing one direction, emotionally and behaviorally. Another reason is lack of responsibility. Some people believe asking means waiting. They think if they ask enough, it should appear. But asking is not passive. Asking is a decision to move. Movement is part of asking. If you do not move, you are not truly asking. You are wishing. Wishing feels good. Asking changes behavior. Another reason requests fail is negative self-talk. The voice inside that says, "Who do you think you are? People like you do not get that." This voice weakens confidence. Confidence is not arrogance. It is belief in possibility. When possibility dies, effort dies. Another reason is lack of emotional permission. Some people feel guilty wanting more. They think wanting more makes them selfish. Guilt blocks receiving. If you believe you should not have it, you will not fully allow yourself to get it. Permission matters. You must believe you are allowed to receive. Another reason is focus on what you do not have. Constantly thinking about lack trains your mind to see lack. Your brain becomes skilled at noticing absence. When you focus on lack, you feel discouraged. Discouragement reduces action. Reduced action reduces results. Focus does not mean pretending problems do not exist. It means choosing what you train your mind to look for. Another reason is fear of change. Getting what you ask for often changes your life. Change brings responsibility. Change brings attention. Change brings new expectations. Some people unconsciously block success to avoid change. They want the reward, but not the new version of themselves. This creates inner resistance. Resistance weakens follow-through. Another reason requests fail is inconsistency. You are motivated one day, doubtful the next, focused one week, distracted the next. Inconsistency sends mixed signals to your own brain. Your brain responds to patterns, not to single moments. Consistent focus builds momentum. Momentum makes things easier. Another reason is external validation dependence. If you only believe in your request when others approve, your confidence becomes fragile. Fragile confidence collapses easily. Strong alignment comes from internal decision. I believe this is possible for me. The belief stays even when others doubt. Another reason requests fail is emotional exhaustion. If you are tired, stressed, or burned out, your emotional energy is low. Low energy weakens clarity, weakens persistence, weakens confidence. Rest is part of receiving. A tired mind sends weak signals. Another reason is confusing desire with decision. Desire says, "I want it." Decision says, "I am moving toward it." Many people desire without deciding. Decision changes behavior. Behavior creates results. Another reason requests fail is lack of self-trust. If you do not trust yourself to handle success, you will hesitate, you will delay, you will sabotage. Trust grows from keeping small promises to yourself. When you keep promises, your mind believes you. Belief strengthens alignment. Another reason is emotional contradiction. You say you want something, but you talk negatively about people who have it. This creates conflict. If you judge success, your mind avoids becoming what you judge. Your values must match your desires. If they do not, results feel blocked. Another reason requests fail is attention scattered in too many directions. You want many things at once. Your energy spreads thin. Thin energy creates thin results. Focus concentrates power. Even psychologically, focus improves performance. Another reason is fear of asking clearly. Some people ask in ways that protect ego. They say, maybe if it is possible, if you do not mind, if it is not too much. This language reflects inner doubt. Doubt shapes how others respond. Confidence in asking is not arrogance. It is clarity. Clarity invites clarity. Another reason is lack of follow-through. You ask, you start, you stop. Stopping teaches your brain that you do not mean it. Next time, motivation is weaker. Consistency teaches your brain that you are serious. Seriousness builds momentum. Another reason is emotional attachment to timing. You want it now. When it does not come now, you lose belief. Timing is part of alignment. Sometimes you are building skills. Sometimes you are building connections. Sometimes you are building readiness. Impatience interrupts preparation. Another reason requests fail is focusing on obstacles. Obstacles are real, but focus on obstacles increases fear. Fear reduces creativity. Creativity finds paths. When fear dominates, you see walls. When calm dominates, you see doors. Another reason is lack of emotional ownership. You blame circumstances. Blame feels protective, but it removes power. Ownership gives power back. When you say, "What can I adjust?" you regain control. Control increases confidence. Another reason requests fail is ignoring small progress. Small progress feels boring, but small progress builds big results. If you only look for big signs, you miss momentum. Momentum depends on small wins. Another reason is unclear standards. You do not know what success looks like. If you cannot recognize it, you may pass it by. Clarity helps you notice opportunity. Another reason is emotional contradiction again. You want something, but you talk about how impossible it is. Words shape mindset. Mindset shapes action. Action shapes outcome. Another reason is fear of visibility. Getting what you want often means being seen. Being seen feels risky. Some people block success to avoid attention. This is unconscious, but it is powerful. Another reason requests fail is forgetting that asking includes preparation. If you ask for opportunity but do not prepare skills, you are not aligned. Preparation is a signal of belief. Belief strengthens results. Another reason is self-sabotage through humor. Some people joke about their goals. They downplay them to avoid embarrassment. Downplaying weakens commitment. Commitment fuels alignment. Another reason is unclear motivation. If you do not know why you want something, you will quit easily. Strong why supports persistence. Persistence increases chances. Another reason is fear of failure. Fear makes you avoid full effort. Avoidance protects ego, but it blocks success. Another reason is lack of emotional safety. If your environment is negative, it is harder to stay aligned. You must protect your focus. Focus is fragile. Another reason is treating asking as separate from becoming. To receive something, you often must become someone who can hold it. Becoming is part of asking. If you ask for leadership but avoid responsibility, you are misaligned. Another reason is not reviewing and adjusting. If something is not working, adjustment is needed. Rigid thinking blocks growth. Flexibility improves results. All these reasons point to one truth. Most people do not fail because they asked wrong. They fail because they were not aligned. Alignment is not magic. It is internal agreement. Agreement between thought, emotion, expectation, action. When those agree, results change. Not always instantly, but consistently. This chapter is not about blaming you. It is about giving you power. When you understand why requests fail, you stop feeling helpless. You stop thinking it is fate. You see where you can adjust. And when you adjust alignment, your asking becomes stronger. Not because the world suddenly changes, but because you do. And that is where real results begin. Chapter 2. Aligning belief, emotion, and action. Asking is not only something you do with your mouth. It is something you do with your whole system. Your thoughts, your emotions, your expectations, your behavior. When these are not aligned, your request becomes weak. You may say you want something, but if your emotions say it is unlikely, your actions will quietly reflect doubt. People often think belief is just a thought. It is not. Belief is a pattern. It shows up in how you prepare, how you wait, how you react, how you persist. If you truly believe something is possible, you behave differently. You lean forward instead of pulling back. You prepare instead of postponing. You stay engaged instead of giving up early. This is why alignment matters more than words. Many people think they believe, but their emotions tell a different story. They say, "I believe it will happen," but inside, they feel anxious. They feel doubtful. They feel unsure. That emotional signal sends a stronger message than words. Your nervous system listens to emotion first. If emotion says unsafe, your body hesitates. Hesitation weakens action. Weak action weakens results. This is why emotional alignment is critical. You do not need to feel excited all the time, but you need to feel allowed. Allowed to want, allowed to expect, allowed to receive. If part of you feels guilty for wanting more, your system is split. One part pushes forward, one part pulls back. That creates internal resistance. Resistance shows up as delay, as distraction, as losing focus. Not because you are lazy, but because your system is conflicted. Alignment begins with permission. Permission to want what you want. Many people were taught to be small, to not ask for too much, to not expect too much. These messages become emotional rules. Even as adults, those rules stay active. You may say you want more, but emotionally, you feel you should not. This creates quiet self-blocking. Alignment means updating those old rules. It means telling your emotional system, it is safe to want. It is okay to expect. It is okay to receive. When emotion agrees, action becomes stronger. Another layer of alignment is expectation. Expectation is different from hope. Hope says, it would be nice. Expectation says, this is possible for me. Expectation does not guarantee results, but it changes how you move. With expectation, you prepare, you stay alert, you notice opportunities. Without expectation, you wait passively. Passive waiting feels like asking, but it is not aligned. Aligned asking includes readiness. Readiness is a form of belief. If you truly expect something, you get ready for it. You organize, you practice, you improve. These actions send a strong signal to your own brain. Your brain learns, this matters, this is real. Motivation increases, focus sharpens. This is alignment in motion. Another important part is emotional tone. How do you feel when you think about what you want? Do you feel hopeful or tense? Do you feel excited or guilty? Do you feel calm or desperate? Desperation weakens alignment. Desperation sends the message, I do not trust this will happen. Trust strengthens alignment. Trust does not mean certainty. It means openness. Openness allows you to act without panic. Panic creates rushed decisions. Rushed decisions create mistakes. Mistakes weaken belief. Belief weakens action. It becomes a loop. Alignment breaks that loop. Another part of alignment is consistency. You cannot ask one day and forget the next. Your brain responds to patterns. If your focus comes and goes, your motivation becomes unstable. Unstable motivation creates uneven effort. Uneven effort creates uneven results. Consistency does not mean obsession. It means steady direction. You return to the same goal. You think about it. You act toward it. You adjust when needed. This teaches your system that this matters. When something matters, your brain allocates energy. Energy fuels persistence. Persistence increases chances, Another hidden part of alignment is identity. Who do you see yourself as? Do you see yourself as someone who gets results, or someone who struggles? Do you see yourself as capable, or as unlucky? Identity shapes interpretation. If you identify as unlucky, you interpret delays as proof. If you identify as capable, you interpret delays as part of process. Same situation, different meaning. Meaning changes emotion. Emotion changes action. Action changes outcome. This is why alignment includes updating identity, not by lying to yourself, but by collecting evidence. Small wins matter. Each time you take aligned action, you build proof. Proof updates identity. Identity strengthens belief. Belief strengthens action. This is how momentum is built. Another important part is self-talk. The voice inside you matters. If your self-talk says, "This never works, I always fail, people like me do not get this," that voice becomes emotional truth. Even if you try to think positive, the emotional system listens to that voice. Alignment means changing how you talk to yourself, not with fake hype, with realistic support. You say things like, "This may take time, but I can learn. I can adjust. I can keep going." This kind of self-talk builds emotional safety. Safety supports action. Another part of alignment is behavior under uncertainty. When results are not visible yet, what do you do? Do you stop? Do you complain? Do you withdraw? Or do you continue preparing? Continue learning. Continue positioning yourself. Your behavior during uncertainty reveals real belief. If you only act when results are visible, your alignment is weak. Strong alignment acts before proof. This does not mean blind faith. It means commitment to process. Process creates results. Another important part is emotional patience. Many people quit emotionally before they quit physically. They still go through motions, but inside, they have given up. Emotional quitting shows up as low energy, as low attention, as low care. Low care weakens action. Alignment requires emotional patience. Patience is not passive. Patience is staying emotionally engaged without forcing timing. Another layer is responsibility. Aligned asking includes asking yourself, what part is mine? What can I prepare? What can I improve? What can I adjust? When you take responsibility, you gain control. Control reduces helplessness. Helplessness weakens belief. Belief strengthens action. Another hidden misalignment is wanting the result but avoiding the identity that comes with it. If you want leadership but avoid responsibility, you are split. If you want success but avoid visibility, you are split. If you want money but judge people who have it, you are split. These splits create emotional resistance. Resistance blocks flow. Alignment means becoming willing to become the person who holds what you want. This is not about ego. It is about readiness. Readiness is alignment. Another part is emotional honesty. Do you really want what you say you want? Or do you want how it makes you feel? Sometimes people say they want success. What they really want is security. Sometimes they say they want money. What they really want is freedom. When you clarify what you truly want, your actions become clearer. Clarity strengthens alignment. Another part is removing inner contradictions. If you say you want growth, but complain about challenge, you are split. Growth includes challenge. Alignment means accepting the full package, not just the reward. Another layer is environment. If you surround yourself with doubt, your alignment weakens. If you surround yourself with possibility, your alignment strengthens. Environment influences emotion. Emotion influences belief. Belief influences action. Protecting your environment protects alignment. Another part is emotional commitment. Not just saying, "I want this," but saying, "I am willing to change for this." Change is part of receiving. Receiving is not passive. It is becoming. Another hidden block is fear of success. Success brings attention, expectations, responsibility. Some people want the reward but fear the wait. That fear creates subtle sabotage. Alignment requires facing that fear, not removing it, acknowledging it, and moving anyway. Another part is trust in timing. Not everything happens immediately. If you demand instant results, you may quit before momentum builds. Momentum often starts quietly. Alignment stays steady during quiet phases. Another part is noticing small confirmations. Small wins are signals. They show you are on path. If you ignore them, you weaken belief. If you notice them, you strengthen alignment. Another layer is emotional regulation. When things go wrong, how do you respond? Do you spiral or do you reset? Resetting is alignment. It keeps you moving forward. Another part is clear asking, not vague wishes. Clear requests inside your own mind. Clear standards for yourself. Clear picture of what you are moving toward. Clarity organizes energy. Disorganization scatters energy. Another part is integrity. Do your actions match your words? If you say you want something, but do nothing differently, your system learns not to take you seriously. When you follow through, your system trusts you. Trust strengthens alignment. Another hidden misalignment is emotional attachment to struggle. Some people are used to struggling. Struggle becomes identity. When things get easier, they feel uncomfortable. They return to struggle unconsciously. Alignment means letting go of struggle identity, allowing ease. Another part is emotional courage. Sometimes alignment requires disappointing others. Choosing your path may upset someone. If you avoid that, you weaken alignment. Alignment means honoring your direction. Another layer is self-respect. When you respect your own goals, you act with more consistency. Disrespecting your goals weakens motivation. Another part is reviewing and adjusting. If something is not working, alignment does not mean stubbornness. It means intelligent adjustment. Adjustment keeps direction strong. Another part is emotional clarity. Knowing why this matters to you. Strong reasons support persistence. Weak reasons fade quickly. Another part is allowing yourself to receive. Some people work hard, but when something good appears, they push it away. They feel uncomfortable. They feel undeserving. This blocks results. Alignment includes practicing receiving, saying yes, accepting help, accepting opportunity. Receiving is a skill. Another part is emotional stability. Extreme emotional swings weaken alignment. Calm consistency strengthens it. Another part is attention management. Where your attention goes, energy flows. If your attention is scattered, alignment weakens. If your attention is focused, alignment strengthens. Another part is commitment to growth. Growth may require learning. Learning may require humility. Humility supports alignment. Another part is letting go of old stories. Stories like, people like me never get this. Old stories block new results. Alignment requires updating stories. Not with fantasy, with evidence from action. Another part is trusting your ability to handle outcome. If you fear you cannot handle success, you may block it. Trust builds through preparation. Preparation reduces fear. Another part is emotional presence. Being here now, not stuck in past failures, not stuck in future fear. Presence strengthens clarity. Clarity strengthens action. Another part is energy management. If you are drained, alignment is harder. Rest is part of alignment. Another part is honesty with resistance. Notice when you resist. Ask why. Resistance carries information. Understanding it reduces its power. Another part is choosing again. Alignment is not one decision. It is a daily choice. You choose to align thought, emotion, expectation, action, each day, each moment. When you do this, asking becomes stronger, not because you force the world, but because you stop fighting yourself. And when you stop fighting yourself, your direction becomes clear. Clear direction creates momentum. Momentum creates results, not magically, but naturally. That is the power of alignment. Chapter 3: Removing inner resistance that blocks results. Many people believe they are fully ready to receive what they ask for. They say they want it. They think about it. They even work toward it. Yet something still feels blocked. This block is often not outside. It is inside. Inner resistance is quiet. It does not always feel like fear. Sometimes it feels like distraction. Sometimes it feels like tiredness. Sometimes it feels like losing interest. But beneath these feelings, there is often resistance. Resistance means part of you is not fully on board. One part wants the result. Another part is afraid of what comes with it. This inner split weakens direction. When direction is weak, results slow down. The first step to removing resistance is noticing it without judgment. Resistance is not failure, it is information. It tells you where your system feels unsafe. Safety is the key word. Your nervous system is designed to protect you. If it senses risk, it pulls back. Risk does not only mean danger, it also means change. Change feels risky to the nervous system. Even positive change. More money means more responsibility. More success means more visibility. More growth means leaving old comfort. Your system may say, I want this, but also say, this feels unsafe. This creates hesitation. Hesitation weakens consistency. Consistency is required for results. Another reason resistance appears is fear of failure. Failure threatens identity. If you try fully and fail, you may feel exposed. To avoid this, some people never try fully. Half effort protects ego. Half effort also protects you from success. Resistance uses protection to block both pain and growth. Another form of resistance is fear of success. Success changes how others see you. It may create expectations. It may create pressure. If you are used to being unnoticed, visibility feels unsafe. So part of you may slow down progress, not consciously, automatically. Another form of resistance is loyalty to old identity. If you grew up being the struggling one, success may feel like betrayal. You may feel guilty for outgrowing others. This guilt creates resistance. You slow down to stay familiar. Familiar feels safe, but familiar may not support growth. Another form of resistance is comfort addiction. Comfort is powerful. Growth often requires discomfort. If your nervous system prioritizes comfort, it will block growth behaviors. You may say you want more, but your body chooses ease. This is not laziness, it is protection. Another form of resistance is negative beliefs. Beliefs like, I do not deserve this. People like me do not get this. This is too good to be true. These beliefs create emotional breaks. Even if you think positively on the surface, these deeper beliefs can dominate. Another form of resistance is fear of responsibility. If you get what you want, you may have to lead, decide, be accountable. If you doubt your ability to handle that, resistance appears. Resistance protects you from imagined overload. Another form of resistance is fear of change in relationships. Success can change dynamics. Some people may feel threatened. Some may feel distant. If connection is very important to you, your system may block success to protect relationships. This is emotional loyalty. Another form of resistance is lack of trust in yourself. If you do not trust yourself to manage success, you may slow it down. Trust is built through small wins. Without small wins, big wins feel unsafe. Another form of resistance is unresolved past disappointment. If you tried before and failed, your system remembers pain. It tries to prevent repetition, so it resists full engagement. This is emotional memory. Another form of resistance is perfectionism. If you feel you must be perfect to succeed, you may never feel ready. Not ready becomes resistance. You delay, you wait. Waiting feels safer than risking imperfection. Another form of resistance is unclear boundaries. If you fear that success will take over your life, your system resists. You may think, I will lose my freedom. This fear blocks full alignment. Another form of resistance is emotional exhaustion. If you are burned out, even good goals feel heavy. Your system says, not now. This is not lack of desire. It is lack of energy. Rest is needed to remove this resistance. Another form of resistance is identity conflict. If you see yourself as humble, you may resist standing out. If you see yourself as loyal, you may resist surpassing others. If you see yourself as safe, you may resist risk. Identity stories shape resistance. Another form of resistance is inner conflict between values. You may value security and growth. If growth threatens security, resistance appears. Alignment requires choosing how to balance values. Another form of resistance is fear of being seen as selfish. If you were taught to put others first, wanting more for yourself may feel wrong. Guilt blocks receiving. Another form of resistance is emotional uncertainty. If you are not sure what you really want, your system hesitates. Hesitation is resistance. Clarity reduces resistance. Another form of resistance is attachment to struggle. Some people feel familiar with struggle. Ease feels unfamiliar. Unfamiliar feels unsafe, so they return to struggle. This is identity-based resistance. Another form of resistance is fear of outgrowing your past. Outgrowing old roles can feel like loss. Loss triggers resistance. Another form of resistance is fear of judgment. Success attracts opinions. If you fear criticism, your system may block growth. Another form of resistance is overthinking. Overthinking delays action. Delay is resistance in disguise. Another form of resistance is lack of emotional permission again. If you do not feel allowed to have more, your system blocks it. Permission is emotional alignment. Another form of resistance is fear of making the wrong choice. Fear of regret creates paralysis. Paralysis blocks progress. Another form of resistance is hidden doubt. You may say you believe, but emotionally, you do not fully. This creates split energy. Another form of resistance is inconsistency. Inconsistency weakens trust in yourself. Without trust, resistance grows. Another form of resistance is ignoring intuition. If your intuition signals something, but you ignore it, inner conflict appears. Conflict creates resistance. Another form of resistance is emotional attachment to old stories. Stories like, "This always fails," "This never works." These stories become emotional habits. Habits resist change. Another form of resistance is lack of celebration. If you do not acknowledge progress, your system feels unrewarded. Unrewarded effort feels pointless. Resistance grows. Another form of resistance is fear of responsibility again. Responsibility feels heavy. Your system may avoid it. Another form of resistance is lack of safety in your environment. If your environment is critical, your system stays guarded. Guarding blocks openness. Another form of resistance is unclear next steps. If you do not know what to do next, your system hesitates. Hesitation becomes resistance. Another form of resistance is emotional overload. Too many goals, too many demands. Overload creates shutdown. Shutdown is resistance. Another form of resistance is attachment to timing. If you think it must happen by a certain time, pressure increases. Pressure creates fear. Fear creates resistance. Another form of resistance is fear of losing identity. If your identity is built on lack, abundance feels foreign. Foreign feels unsafe. Another form of resistance is lack of self-trust again. Trust is required to receive. Without trust, resistance protects. Another form of resistance is ignoring emotional needs. If you push without care, your system rebels. Rebellion looks like procrastination. Another form of resistance is fear of success expectations. If you succeed once, people may expect more. This feels heavy. Resistance blocks first success. Another form of resistance is unresolved shame. Shame says, "I am not worthy." Shame blocks receiving. Another form of resistance is fear of responsibility for others. If others depend on you, success feels heavier. Resistance protects from pressure. Another form of resistance is emotional habit of doubt. If you are used to doubting, belief feels unsafe. Doubt feels familiar. Familiar feels safe. Another form of resistance is lack of alignment with deeper purpose. If a goal is not connected to your values, your system resists. Alignment with values reduces resistance. Another form of resistance is fear of being different. Difference can create isolation. If belonging is important, your system resists standing out. Another form of resistance is emotional attachment to comfort routines. Routines protect energy. New routines require effort. Effort feels unsafe to a tired system. Another form of resistance is fear of making others uncomfortable. Your growth may change dynamics. Resistance protects harmony. Another form of resistance is inner contradiction again. You want growth, but you complain about pressure. Pressure is part of growth. Alignment accepts the full experience. Another form of resistance is emotional delay. You say, "I will start when I feel ready." Ready may never come. Action creates readiness. Delay maintains resistance. Another form of resistance is lack of boundaries. If you fear success will consume you, your system blocks it. Clear boundaries, reduce resistance. Another form of resistance is emotional confusion. You want something, but you are not clear why. Unclear why weakens motivation. Weak motivation allows resistance. Another form of resistance is ignoring fear. Ignoring fear does not remove it. Understanding fear reduces its power. Another form of resistance is self-sabotage through distraction. Distraction feels harmless, but it blocks momentum. Another form of resistance is lack of emotional safety with failure. If failure feels catastrophic, your system avoids full effort. Safe failure mindset reduces resistance. Another form of resistance is not trusting timing. You rush or you freeze. Both create resistance. Another form of resistance is emotional attachment to old pain. Pain becomes familiar. Letting go feels uncertain. Uncertainty creates resistance. Another form of resistance is fear of becoming someone new. Growth changes identity. Identity change feels risky. Resistance protects old self. Another form of resistance is emotional overwhelm. Too much at once. Break into small steps. Small steps reduce resistance. Another form of resistance is lack of self-support. If you are harsh with yourself, your system protects by slowing down. Kindness reduces resistance. Another form of resistance is misalignment between goal and environment. If your environment punishes effort, your system resists effort. Another form of resistance is fear of judgment from self. Self-judgment blocks courage. Another form of resistance is emotional attachment to being right. If you succeed, you may prove old beliefs wrong. That can feel threatening. Resistance protects old beliefs. Another form of resistance is lack of emotional ownership. Blaming outside forces feels easier, but it removes power. Power is needed for alignment. Another form of resistance is not acknowledging fear of change. Change is scary. Admit it. Acknowledgement reduces resistance. Another form of resistance is holding on to safety of small life. Small life feels manageable. Big life feels unknown. Unknown triggers resistance. Another form of resistance is lack of emotional vision. If you cannot imagine life with what you want, your system resists. Visualization supports safety. Another form of resistance is attachment to past failure identity. If you see yourself as someone who failed, success feels contradictory. Resistance protects identity. Another form of resistance is fear of hope. Hope makes you vulnerable. Some people avoid hope to avoid pain. Avoiding hope blocks growth. Another form of resistance is emotional fatigue again. Rest is not weakness. Rest removes resistance. Another form of resistance is ignoring small inner yes. If something feels right, but you ignore it, inner conflict grows. Conflict creates resistance. Another form of resistance is lack of emotional support. Support reduces fear. Fear increases resistance. Another form of resistance is emotional self-protection through humor or cynicism. Cynicism protects from disappointment. It also blocks possibility. Another form of resistance is believing you must struggle to deserve success. This belief creates self-imposed hardship. Hardship blocks ease. Another form of resistance is fear of letting go of excuses. Excuses protect ego. Without excuses, you face responsibility. Responsibility feels heavy. Resistance protects from that weight. Another form of resistance is lack of inner safety. If your inner world feels critical, your system stays guarded. Guarded systems resist growth. Another form of resistance is ignoring emotional signals. Your body knows when something feels unsafe. Listen, work with it. Do not fight it. Another form of resistance is emotional rigidity. If you refuse to adapt, growth becomes threatening. Flexibility reduces resistance. Another form of resistance is identity attachment to victim role. If you see yourself as unlucky, success challenges that story. Resistance protects story. Another form of resistance is emotional attachment to certainty. Growth includes uncertainty. If you hate uncertainty, you resist growth. Another form of resistance is not feeling worthy again. Worthiness beliefs are powerful. If you do not feel worthy, your system blocks receiving. Removing resistance is not about forcing yourself. It is about creating inner safety. Safety allows alignment. Alignment allows action. Action allows results. When you remove resistance, asking becomes easier. Not because you push harder, but because you stop pulling back. And when you stop pulling back, your direction becomes clear. Clear direction is powerful. That is how inner resistance quietly blocks results. And that is how understanding it gives you back control. Chapter 4. Asking with clarity. So your mind can move. Many people think they are clear about what they want, but when you look closely, their asking is vague. They say things like, I want more success. I want a better life. I want to be happier. These are feelings, not directions. Your mind cannot move toward a feeling. It needs a picture. Clarity gives your mind something to aim at. When your mind knows where to go, your behavior becomes more organized. Organized behavior creates stronger results. Vague asking creates vague action. Vague action creates weak results. This is not punishment. It is how focus works. Your brain is a targeting system. It looks for what you tell it to look for. If you say, I want more, your brain asks, more of what? If you cannot answer, your brain drifts. Drifting wastes energy. Energy is required for results. Clarity does not mean perfection. It means direction. Direction reduces confusion. Confusion creates hesitation. Hesitation weakens momentum. Another reason clarity matters is emotional alignment. When you are clear, your emotions feel calmer. Unclear goals create inner noise. Noise increases stress. Stress reduces focus. Another reason clarity matters is decision-making. If you know what you want, decisions become easier. You can ask, does this move me closer? Without clarity, every option feels equal. Equal options create paralysis. Paralysis blocks progress. Another reason clarity matters is motivation. Clear goals feel more real. Real goals trigger stronger emotion. Stronger emotion fuels action. Weak clarity creates weak motivation. Another reason clarity matters is communication. If you ask others vaguely, they cannot support you clearly. Clear requests get clearer responses. Another reason clarity matters is self-trust. When you are clear, your mind trusts your direction. Trust increases commitment. Commitment increases consistency. Consistency creates results. Another reason clarity matters is energy management. When goals are unclear, you waste energy on distractions. Clarity filters distractions. Filtered attention is powerful. Another reason clarity matters is reducing resistance. Resistance often comes from confusion. If you are not sure what you want, part of you hesitates. Clarity reduces inner conflict. Another reason clarity matters is emotional safety. Your nervous system relaxes when direction is known. Unknown feels unsafe. Clarity feels safer. Safety supports action. Another reason clarity matters is feedback. When goals are clear, you can measure progress. Progress builds belief. Belief builds persistence. Another reason clarity matters is identity. Clear goals help you see who you are becoming. Becoming supports alignment. Another reason clarity matters is imagination. Your mind can picture clear outcomes. Pictures guide behavior. Behavior creates experience. Another reason clarity matters is priority. Without clarity, everything feels important. When everything is important, nothing is focused. Focus is power. Another reason clarity matters is emotional connection. You care more about what you understand. Understanding builds care. Care fuels action. Another reason clarity matters is reducing fear. Fear grows in uncertainty. Clarity reduces uncertainty. Another reason clarity matters is habit formation. Clear goals create clear habits. Habits automate action. Automation supports consistency. Another reason clarity matters is confidence. When you know what you want, you speak and act with more certainty. Certainty attracts support. Another reason clarity matters is boundaries. Clear goals help you say no. No protects energy. Protected energy fuels progress. Another reason clarity matters is patience. When direction is clear, you can wait calmly. When direction is unclear, waiting feels pointless. Another reason clarity matters is resilience. Clear purpose helps you continue after setbacks. Unclear purpose fades under pressure. Another reason clarity matters is learning. When you know what you want, you know what to learn. Learning supports growth. Another reason clarity matters is alignment again. Thought, emotion, and action align more easily with clear goals. Another reason clarity matters is reducing self-sabotage. Self-sabotage often comes from unclear direction. Clarity removes excuses. Another reason clarity matters is trust. Your mind trusts clear instructions. Vague instructions get weak results. Another reason clarity matters is emotional energy. Clear goals feel lighter. Confusion feels heavy. Another reason clarity matters is focus on what matters. Clear goals help you ignore noise. Noise drains energy. Another reason clarity matters is ownership. When you name what you want, you own it. Ownership increases responsibility. Responsibility increases power. Another reason clarity matters is self-respect. Clear goals show you take yourself seriously. Self-respect strengthens alignment. Another reason clarity matters is momentum. Clarity makes first steps obvious. Obvious steps reduce delay. Delay weakens motivation. Another reason clarity matters is self-talk. Clear goals give your inner voice direction. Direction reduces inner argument. Another reason clarity matters is emotional honesty. You must admit what you really want. Hiding from desire creates conflict. Conflict creates resistance. Another reason clarity matters is confidence in asking. Clear asking sounds stronger. Stronger asking gets stronger responses. Another reason clarity matters is belief. When you are clear, belief feels more real. Another reason clarity matters is visualization. You can see success. Seeing success supports motivation. Another reason clarity matters is time use. Clear goals guide how you spend time. Time used well builds progress. Another reason clarity matters is reducing overwhelm. Overwhelm comes from too many vague goals. Clarity narrows focus. Narrow focus reduces stress. Another reason clarity matters is emotional grounding. Clarity anchors you. Anchoring reduces anxiety. Another reason clarity matters is direction. Under pressure. When pressure hits, clear goals guide you. Without clarity, pressure creates chaos. Another reason clarity matters is communication with yourself. You stop negotiating with your mind. You give it direction. Another reason clarity matters is follow through. Clear goals make it easier to start. Starting builds momentum. Another reason clarity matters is celebrating wins. You can recognize success when it happens. Recognition builds confidence. Another reason clarity matters is reducing procrastination. Procrastination hides in confusion. Clarity exposes it. Another reason clarity matters is emotional permission. Naming what you want gives you permission to pursue it. Permission strengthens alignment. Another reason clarity matters is patience with process. Clear goals help you trust the path. Another reason clarity matters is self-leadership. You lead your mind with clarity. Leadership builds confidence. Another reason clarity matters is simplifying decisions. Simpler decisions reduce mental load. Another reason clarity matters is emotional focus. Focused emotion is powerful. Another reason clarity matters is learning from mistakes. Clear goals make mistakes useful. Useful mistakes improve strategy. Another reason clarity matters is trust in yourself. When you are clear, you trust your direction more. Trust strengthens commitment. Another reason clarity matters is reducing fear of wrong choices. Clear direction makes choices easier. Another reason clarity matters is energy flow. Energy follows clarity. Another reason clarity matters is internal agreement. Clarity reduces inner debate. Another reason clarity matters is courage. Clear goals make courage purposeful. Another reason clarity matters is action. Action needs direction. Without direction, action is random. Random action creates random results. Another reason clarity matters is emotional stability. Clarity calms. Another reason clarity matters is growth. Growth needs direction. Another reason clarity matters is alignment again. Clarity aligns mind and behavior. When you ask with clarity, your mind can move. When your mind can move, your behavior follows. When your behavior follows, results become possible, not guaranteed, but possible. Clarity does not force life. It organizes you. And when you are organized inside, your asking becomes strong. Strong asking is not loud. It is focused. And focused asking changes what you notice, changes what you try, changes how you persist. That is how clarity turns asking into movement. And movement is where results begin. Chapter 5. Matching your actions to what you ask for. Many people believe asking is mostly about intention. They think if they think it strongly enough, results should appear. But intention without matching action is weak. Your actions are the loudest signal you send. They show what you truly believe. If you say you want something, but your actions do not change, your system learns that the request is not serious. Your mind watches what you do more than what you say. If you say, "I want growth," but you avoid challenge, your actions cancel your words. This creates mixed messages. Mixed messages weaken momentum. Momentum comes from agreement between words and behavior. Another important truth is this: action is proof of belief. When you believe something is possible, you prepare. Preparation is action. If you do not prepare, your belief is shallow, not because you are dishonest, but because fear is stronger than belief. Fear blocks action. Action weakens fear. This is why small actions matter. You do not need huge steps. You need consistent ones. Consistency tells your brain, this is real, this matters. When your brain believes it matters, it allocates energy. Energy fuels focus. Focus fuels persistence. Another reason matching action matters is trust in yourself. If you say you want something, but you do nothing, your mind learns not to trust you. Self-trust weakens. When self-trust is weak, motivation drops. When you follow through, self-trust grows. Self-trust strengthens alignment. Another reason matching action matters is identity. Each action is a vote for who you are becoming. If you take actions that match your goals, your identity updates. I am someone who moves toward what I want. That identity supports future action. If you avoid action, your identity becomes, I am someone who talks, but does not act. That identity blocks results. Another reason action matters is emotional reinforcement. Action creates experience. Experience creates emotion. Emotion reinforces belief. This loop builds momentum. Without action, the loop never starts. Another reason action matters is clarity. When you act, you get feedback. Feedback teaches you what works. Without action, you stay in imagination. Imagination feels safe. It does not create results. Results require feedback. Another reason action matters is confidence. Confidence grows from doing, not from thinking. Each small step builds evidence. Evidence weakens doubt. Another reason action matters is responsibility. Action shifts you from waiting to leading. Leading feels empowering. Empowerment reduces helplessness. Helplessness blocks alignment. Another reason action matters is energy flow. Movement creates energy. Stagnation drains energy. Even small movement increases motivation. Another reason action matters is habit formation. Habits are built through repeated behavior. Habits make action automatic. Automatic action removes overthinking. Another reason action matters is emotional honesty. If you truly want something, you show it with behavior. Behavior is honest. Another reason action matters is reducing fear. Fear lives in imagination. Action brings you into reality. Reality is usually less scary than imagined. Another reason action matters is learning. You cannot learn from thinking alone. Learning comes from trying. Trying creates skill. Skill improves results. Another reason action matters is respect for your own goals. When you act, you show respect for what you want. Respect strengthens commitment. Another reason action matters is momentum again. Momentum is created by motion. No motion means no momentum. Another reason action matters is breaking old patterns. Old patterns keep you stuck. New actions create new patterns. Patterns shape life. Another reason action matters is focus. When you act, your focus becomes sharper. Sharp focus improves quality of effort. Another reason action matters is emotional regulation. Action reduces anxiety. Anxiety thrives in inaction. Another reason action matters is opportunity recognition. When you are active, you notice opportunities. When you are passive, you'll miss them. Another reason action matters is proof to yourself. Proof is more powerful than motivation. Motivation fades, proof stays. Another reason action matters is alignment again. Action is where thought becomes real. Without action, alignment stays theoretical. Another reason action matters is courage. Courage grows from small acts. Each act makes the next easier. Another reason action matters is patience. Action helps you wait actively. Active waiting feels purposeful. Passive waiting feels helpless. Another reason action matters is emotional investment. When you invest effort, you care more. Caring fuels persistence. Another reason action matters is reducing inner conflict. When you act, inner debate quiets. Debate drains energy. Action focuses energy. Another reason action matters is trust in process. Process is built through action. Without action, there is no process. Another reason action matters is growth mindset. Action accepts imperfection. Imperfection teaches. Another reason action matters is visibility. When you act, others see you. Being seen creates opportunities. Another reason action matters is breaking fear of failure. Failure becomes less scary when you experience it. Experience builds resilience. Another reason action matters is emotional ownership. Action puts you in charge. Being in charge reduces victim thinking. Another reason action matters is alignment with values. If you value growth, action honors that value. Another reason action matters is reducing regret. Regret comes from not trying. Trying protects peace of mind. Another reason action matters is habit of follow-through. Follow-through builds character. Character supports long-term success. Another reason action matters is belief in possibility. Each step says, this is possible. Another reason action matters is making asking real. Asking without action is wishing. Asking with action is commitment. Commitment changes results. Another reason action matters is reducing waiting mindset. Waiting mindset weakens power. Action mindset strengthens power. Another reason action matters is training your nervous system. Each action teaches safety. Safety reduces resistance. Another reason action matters is self-respect again. You treat your goals seriously. Another reason action matters is identity reinforcement again. You become someone who acts. Another reason action matters is emotional clarity. Action clarifies what you truly want. Sometimes action shows you that you need to adjust. Adjustment is progress. Another reason action matters is breaking analysis paralysis. Thinking feels productive. Action is productive. Another reason action matters is time. Time passes whether you act or not. Action makes time work for you. Another reason action matters is inner authority. You become the person who decides and moves. Another reason action matters is releasing fantasy. Fantasy feels good. Action creates reality. Another reason action matters is building track record. Track record builds confidence. Another reason action matters is teaching your mind to cooperate. Your mind follows your behavior. Another reason action matters is emotional strength. Strength grows from doing hard things. Another reason action matters is commitment to change. Change requires behavior. Another reason action matters is reducing fear of next step. The first step is the hardest. After that, motion helps. Another reason action matters is proving to yourself that you mean it. Meaning it changes everything. Another reason action matters is shifting from hoping to creating. Creating feels powerful. Another reason action matters is that life responds to movement, not to waiting. Movement attracts response. Another reason action matters is responsibility again. Responsibility gives you back control. Another reason action matters is breaking comfort zones. Comfort zones feel safe. Growth happens outside them. Another reason action matters is showing seriousness. Seriousness attracts support. Another reason action matters is emotional momentum. Momentum feels good. Good feelings reinforce action. Another reason action matters is clarity of next step. Each action reveals the next. Another reason action matters is training patience. Patience with action is powerful. Another reason action matters is reducing self-doubt. Doing weakens doubt. Another reason action matters is honoring your desire. Desire deserves action. Another reason action matters is teaching your system that you are reliable. Reliability builds self-trust. Another reason action matters is long-term change. Long-term change is built from daily actions. Another reason action matters is alignment. Again and again. Thought without action is incomplete. Action completes thought. When your actions match what you ask for, your system becomes unified. No more mixed messages. Your mind, emotion, and behavior point the same way. That creates power. Not loud power. Quiet, steady power. The kind that builds results over time. When you stop only asking and start matching with action, your asking becomes real. Not because you forced the world, but because you showed yourself that you are serious. And when you are serious with your own life, life often responds differently, not always instantly, but consistently. That is how matching action to asking turns desire into movement. And movement is where real change begins. Chapter 6. Releasing doubt and strengthening inner expectation. Doubt is one of the quiet forces that weakens asking. It does not always shout. Sometimes it whispers. It sounds like, what if this does not work? What if I fail? What if I get my hopes up for nothing? These thoughts feel protective. They try to save you from disappointment. But protection can become limitation. Doubt does not only live in thoughts, it lives in tone, in hesitation, in how long you wait before acting. Expectation is different from wishing. Wishing hopes. Expectation prepares. When you expect something is possible, you behave as if it could happen. That behavior changes outcomes. Releasing doubt does not mean pretending fear is not there. It means not letting fear lead. Fear can sit in the back seat. Expectation takes the wheel. Another important truth is this: doubt is learned. It often comes from past experiences. Times when you tried and failed. Times when you were disappointed. Your mind remembers those moments. It tries to prevent pain, so it lowers expectation. Lower expectation feels safer emotionally, but it also weakens alignment. Alignment needs belief. Belief does not mean certainty. It means openness to possibility. When you close to possibility, your actions shrink. When actions shrink, results shrink. Another reason doubt weakens asking is emotional contradiction. You say you want something, but emotionally you prepare for loss. Preparing for loss changes behavior. You delay. You hold back. You do not fully commit. Then when results are weak, you say, "See, I was right to doubt, but the doubt helped create the result." This is not blame. It is awareness. Awareness gives you choice. Another important idea is building expectation through evidence. Expectation is not built by positive thinking alone. It is built by small proof. Each small action you take, each small result you notice, each small win you acknowledge. These are bricks. Brick by brick, expectation grows. If you ignore small wins, your brain sees no proof. Without proof, doubt stays strong. Another reason doubt stays is negative self-talk. If your inner voice constantly says, "This never works, people like you do not get this," that voice becomes emotional truth. Even if you say positive words on the outside, that inner tone guides your system. Strengthening expectation means changing that inner voice. Not with fake hype, with realistic encouragement. You say, "This may be hard, but I can learn. I can improve. I can keep going." This kind of self-talk builds emotional safety. Safety allows expectation. Another reason doubt persists is emotional fatigue. When you are tired, your mind becomes negative. Fatigue amplifies doubt. Rest is part of strengthening expectation. A rested system believes more easily. Another reason doubt weakens asking is fear of embarrassment. If you expect success and it does not happen, you may feel foolish. To avoid this, some people lower expectations. They protect ego. But ego protection blocks growth. Confidence is willing to risk looking foolish. Growth requires that risk. Another reason doubt stays is identity. If you see yourself as someone who struggles, expecting success feels unfamiliar. Unfamiliar feels unsafe. Your system prefers familiar pain over unfamiliar possibility. Strengthening expectation means updating identity. You start seeing yourself as someone who is learning, someone who is improving, someone who can grow. This identity supports expectation. Another reason doubt stays is focusing on worst-case outcomes. Your mind imagines what could go wrong. Imagination feels real. Expectation requires balancing imagination. You also imagine what could go right, not as fantasy, as possibility. Possibility gives energy. Another reason doubt persists is lack of emotional permission. Some people feel it is dangerous to expect good things. They were taught not to hope too much. Hope makes you vulnerable, but vulnerability is part of growth. Strengthening expectation means allowing hope. Hope is not weakness. Hope is emotional fuel. Another reason doubt weakens asking is comparison. You compare yourself to others. You see their success. You assume you are behind. Comparison feeds doubt. Your path is not their path. Expectation grows when you focus on your own progress. Another reason doubt persists is focusing on time. You think it is taking too long. Long time becomes proof of impossibility, but long time often means learning and preparation. Expectation includes patience. Patience keeps belief alive. Another reason doubt stays is ignoring effort. You discount what you have done. You say, it is not enough. Discounting effort weakens belief. Acknowledging effort strengthens it. Another reason doubt weakens asking is fear of commitment. If you fully expect something, you must act fully. Full action feels risky. So, you keep doubt to justify half effort. Half effort feels safer, but half effort creates half results. Another reason doubt persists is environment. If people around you are negative, their doubt becomes yours. Protecting your environment protects expectation. Expectation needs support. Another reason doubt stays is unresolved past failure. Past failure becomes emotional proof. You think, it failed before, so it will fail again. But each attempt is different. Expectation allows new outcomes. Another reason doubt weakens asking is overthinking. Overthinking creates endless scenarios. Scenarios drain energy. Energy is needed for belief. Another reason doubt persists is lack of emotional grounding. When you feel anxious, your mind looks for reasons. It often chooses doubt. Grounding calms anxiety. Calm allows expectation. Another reason doubt stays is fear of success. Responsibility again. Success brings pressure. If you fear pressure, you lower expectation. Strengthening expectation includes trusting yourself to handle pressure. Trust grows with preparation. Another reason doubt persists is all or nothing thinking. You think, if it does not happen perfectly, it is failure. This creates fear. Expectation becomes fragile. Healthy expectation allows imperfect progress. Another reason doubt weakens asking is impatience again. Impatience creates emotional quitting. Emotional quitting kills expectation. Another reason doubt stays is lack of review. If you never reflect on what you learned, you repeat mistakes. Repeating mistakes strengthens doubt. Learning weakens it. Another reason doubt persists is focusing on what you lack. Lack focus trains your mind to see lack. Expectation grows when you notice what you have. Resources, skills, support. Noticing resources strengthens belief. Another reason doubt weakens asking is emotional overwhelm. Too many goals create confusion. Confusion feeds doubt. Simplifying focus strengthens expectation. Another reason doubt stays is fear of being wrong. If you expect success and it fails, you feel wrong. Being wrong feels painful, but being wrong is part of learning. Expectation that allows learning is stronger. Another reason doubt persists is lack of internal celebration. If you never celebrate small progress, your system feels unrewarded. Unrewarded effort weakens belief. Another reason doubt weakens asking is emotional contradiction again. You want growth, but you complain about effort. Effort is part of growth. Accepting effort strengthens expectation. Another reason doubt stays is poor self-care. When you neglect yourself, your system feels unsafe. Unsafe systems doubt more. Another reason doubt persists is negative future projection. You imagine future failure. Expectation imagines possible success. Balancing imagination changes emotion. Another reason doubt weakens asking is fear of standing out. Success can make you visible. If visibility feels unsafe, you lower expectation. Strengthening expectation means accepting visibility. Another reason doubt persists is not tracking progress. Without tracking, you feel stuck. Tracking shows movement. Movement strengthens belief. Another reason doubt weakens asking is waiting for certainty. Certainty rarely comes first. Action comes first. Evidence comes after. Expectation grows from action, not before it. Another reason doubt stays is habit. Doubt becomes a habit. Habits change with practice. Practicing expectation changes habit. Another reason doubt persists is ignoring intuition. If something feels right but you doubt it, inner conflict grows. Conflict feeds doubt. Another reason doubt weakens asking is emotional self-criticism. Criticism weakens belief. Support strengthens belief. Another reason doubt stays is lack of trust in process. Process takes time. Trust keeps you moving. Another reason doubt persists is fear of disappointment again. Disappointment is part of life. Avoiding it avoids growth. Expectation accepts risk. Another reason doubt weakens asking is thinking you must feel confident first. You do not. Expectation grows through action. Another reason doubt stays is attachment to control. You want guarantees. Life rarely gives guarantees. Expectation works with uncertainty. Another reason doubt persists is lack of emotional safety in yourself. If you are harsh with yourself, your system protects by doubting. Kindness reduces doubt. Another reason doubt weakens asking is not asking yourself better questions. Instead of, what if it fails? Ask, what if I learn? Learning-focused thinking strengthens expectation. Another reason doubt persists is fear of change again. Change is uncomfortable. Expectation accepts discomfort. Another reason doubt weakens asking is ignoring your resilience. You survived past challenges. Remembering resilience strengthens belief. Another reason doubt stays is focusing on obstacles instead of options. Options create hope. Hope fuels expectation. Another reason doubt persists is not practicing belief. Belief is a skill. You train it. Another reason doubt weakens asking is emotional stagnation. Movement emotionally supports belief. Another reason doubt stays is forgetting why you started. Purpose strengthens expectation. Another reason doubt persists is listening to old voices. Old criticism becomes inner doubt. Update your inner voice. Another reason doubt weakens asking is fear of responsibility again. Responsibility means growth. Growth is uncomfortable. Expectation accepts discomfort. Another reason doubt stays is lack of emotional clarity. Clarity reduces doubt. Another reason doubt persists is thinking doubt makes you realistic. Doubt often feels smart, but too much doubt becomes self-sabotage. Healthy realism includes possibility. Another reason doubt weakens asking is not separating past from present. Past does not decide now. Another reason doubt stays is fear being hopeful. Hope makes you vulnerable. Vulnerability is strength. Another reason doubt persists is not trusting small progress. Small progress builds big belief. Another reason doubt weakens asking is emotional rigidity. Flexibility supports expectation. Another reason doubt stays is lack of emotional vision. Vision supports belief. Another reason doubt persists is fear of letting go of negative identity. Negative identity feels familiar. Expectation challenges it. Another reason doubt weakens asking is forgetting that belief is built. It is not found. You build it day by day, action by action, thought by thought. When you release doubt and strengthen expectation, your asking changes tone. It becomes calmer, it becomes steadier, it becomes more believable, not just to others, to yourself. And when you believe yourself, your actions follow. When your actions follow, results become more likely, not guaranteed, but more likely. That is the power of expectation, not magic. Alignment in motion, and alignment in motion is how asking becomes real. Chapter 7. Becoming the person who naturally receives. Getting what you ask for is not only about asking better, it is about becoming someone who can hold the result. Many people want the reward, but they are not yet aligned with the responsibility that comes with it. This is not punishment, it is readiness. If you ask for growth, you must grow. If you ask for leadership, you must become responsible. If you ask for abundance, you must learn to manage. Life often waits for identity to match request. Identity shapes behavior. Behavior shapes results. Becoming is part of asking. Another important truth is this: your life tends to give you what matches your self-image. If you see yourself as capable, you act with confidence. If you see yourself as unworthy, you hesitate. Hesitation blocks flow. Flow supports results. This is why identity work matters. Not fake confidence, real alignment. Another reason becoming matters is emotional capacity. Some results bring stress, more attention, more decisions, more pressure. If your nervous system cannot handle pressure, it may block success. Becoming includes expanding capacity. Capacity grows with experience. You handle small pressure, then slightly more. Over time, your system learns safety. Safety allows growth. Another reason becoming matters is responsibility. Receiving more often means being responsible for more. If you avoid responsibility, your system resists receiving. Responsibility is not punishment. It is power. Power comes with weight. Weight builds strength. Another reason becoming matters is boundaries. If you cannot say no, success may overwhelm you. Your system blocks what it cannot manage. Learning boundaries increases readiness. Another reason becoming matters is emotional maturity. Emotional maturity means handling discomfort without collapse. Growth brings discomfort. If discomfort feels unbearable, your system avoids growth. Building emotional maturity increases receiving capacity. Another reason becoming matters is skill. If you ask for something that requires skill, you must build skill. Skill builds confidence. Confidence supports alignment. Another reason becoming matters is self-trust. If you do not trust yourself to handle success, you will block it. Self-trust grows through keeping promises to yourself. Promises build evidence. Evidence builds trust. Another reason becoming matters is self-respect. If you respect yourself, you allow yourself to receive. Low self-respect blocks receiving. Becoming includes raising self-respect. Another reason becoming matters is letting go of old stories. Stories like, "People like me do not get this." Old stories conflict with new results. Releasing stories makes space. Another reason becoming matters is patience. Becoming takes time. If you rush, your system resists. Respecting timing supports growth. Another reason becoming matters is self-leadership. Leading yourself is preparation for leading results. If you cannot lead your habits, it is hard to lead outcomes. Another reason becoming matters is environment. If your environment pulls you back, becoming is harder. Choosing supportive environments increases readiness. Another reason becoming matters is emotional regulation. If emotions control you, results feel unsafe. Learning to regulate emotions increases capacity. Another reason becoming matters is humility. Humility allows learning. Learning improves readiness. Another reason becoming matters is vision. If you cannot imagine yourself with the result, your system resists. Visualization supports becoming. Another reason becoming matters is releasing fear of change. Change is required. Becoming means allowing identity to shift. Another reason becoming matters is consistency. Becoming is built daily, not in big moments only. Daily habits shape identity. Another reason becoming matters is integrity. Do your actions match who you say you are becoming? Integrity builds inner trust. Inner trust supports receiving. Another reason becoming matters is courage. Becoming requires doing uncomfortable things. Courage grows with action. Another reason becoming matters is responsibility for mistakes. Mistakes will happen. Handling mistakes builds resilience. Resilience supports capacity. Another reason becoming matters is flexibility. Flexibility allows adjustment. Rigid identity blocks growth. Another reason becoming matters is letting go of victim mindset. Victim mindset blocks power. Power is needed to hold results. Another reason becoming matters is emotional honesty. Admit when you are not ready. Readiness can be built. Another reason becoming matters is asking better questions. Who must I become to hold this? This question shifts focus from waiting to preparing. Another reason becoming matters is self-care. If you are exhausted, your system blocks more. Rest is part of becoming. Another reason becoming matters is boundaries with others. If others drain you, your capacity stays low. Protecting energy increases readiness. Another reason becoming matters is accepting growth pain. Growth includes discomfort. Discomfort is not danger. Another reason becoming matters is releasing guilt. Guilt blocks receiving. You must allow yourself to have more. Another reason becoming matters is learning from models. Observe people who have what you want. Not to copy, to understand capacity. Another reason becoming matters is emotional expansion. Allow yourself to feel bigger goals. Bigger goals require bigger emotional space. Another reason becoming matters is releasing fear of success again. Success is change. Change is unknown. Unknown can feel unsafe. Becoming means befriending unknown. Another reason becoming matters is trust in yourself again. Trust grows through action. Another reason becoming matters is letting go of old limits. Limits may be outdated. Update them. Another reason becoming matters is patience with identity change. Identity changes slowly. Respect that. Another reason becoming matters is responsibility for choices. You choose who you become. Choice is power. Another reason becoming matters is emotional grounding. Grounding supports stability. Stability supports capacity. Another reason becoming matters is aligning with values. If results conflict with values, your system resists. Align values with goals. Another reason becoming matters is releasing shame. Shame blocks growth. Self-compassion supports becoming. Another reason becoming matters is owning your growth. Do not wait for permission. Give it to yourself. Another reason becoming matters is learning to handle attention. Attention may increase. Practice being seen. Another reason becoming matters is preparing for new problems. Success brings different problems. Preparation reduces fear. Another reason becoming matters is upgrading self-image. See yourself as someone who can handle more. This image guides behavior. Another reason becoming matters is accepting that you may outgrow people. Outgrowing is part of growth. Another reason becoming matters is emotional courage. Courage allows identity expansion. Another reason becoming matters is releasing attachment to old comfort. Comfort zones shrink capacity. Another reason becoming matters is staying open to feedback. Feedback helps you grow. Another reason becoming matters is recognizing that receiving is a skill. You learn to receive. Another reason becoming matters is practicing gratitude. Gratitude opens emotional space. Another reason becoming matters is trusting timing again. Becoming happens before receiving. Another reason becoming matters is letting go of rush. Rush creates pressure. Pressure creates resistance. Another reason becoming matters is choosing growth identity. Say, I am becoming someone who can handle this. That identity shapes action. Another reason becoming matters is repetition. Repetition builds identity. Another reason becoming matters is allowing yourself to change. Change is not betrayal, it is evolution. Another reason becoming matters is responsibility to your future self. Future you benefits from becoming now. Another reason becoming matters is reducing fear of unknown self. Unknown self can be strong. Trust that. Another reason becoming matters is releasing attachment to how others see you. Others may not understand growth. Grow anyway. Another reason becoming matters is emotional ownership. Own your path. Another reason becoming matters is inner leadership. Lead your mind. Another reason becoming matters is trusting that you can grow into it. Growth is learnable. Another reason becoming matters is patience again. Patience allows deep change. Another reason becoming matters is alignment again. Who you are becoming must match what you are asking. When identity matches request, results feel more natural, not forced, not magical, natural. When you become the person who can hold what you ask for, receiving no longer feels blocked. It feels appropriate. It feels allowed. It feels aligned. That is when asking becomes less about trying and more about allowing what matches who you are becoming. Chapter 8. Letting go of neediness. So asking feels strong. Neediness weakens asking, not because wanting is wrong, but because desperation changes energy. When you need something to feel okay, your system tightens. Tight systems send pressure. Pressure creates resistance. Resistance shows up in others. It also shows up inside you. Neediness often comes from fear. Fear of not having enough. Fear of missing out. Fear of being left behind. Fear makes asking heavy. Heavy asking feels tense. Tension reduces flow. Flow supports results. Letting go of neediness does not mean you stop wanting. It means you stop attaching your worth to the outcome. Worth attachment creates pressure. Pressure weakens clarity. Clarity supports aligned action. Another reason neediness weakens asking is emotional urgency. Urgency feels like now or never. Now or never thinking creates panic. Panic leads to poor decisions. Poor decisions weaken outcomes. Strong asking feels calm. Calm asking shows confidence. Confidence attracts support. Another reason neediness weakens asking is loss of self-respect. When you chase, you signal that you do not believe you are enough. That signal is felt, not always consciously, but emotionally. Emotional signals shape response. Another reason neediness weakens asking is imbalance. When you place all hope on one outcome, you create emotional dependency. Dependency creates fear. Fear weakens alignment. Alignment requires inner stability. Another reason neediness weakens asking is shrinking identity. You see yourself as smaller than the outcome. Smaller identity blocks confidence. Confidence is identity level. Another reason neediness weakens asking is emotional bargaining. You think, if I get this, then I will be okay. This makes the outcome feel like survival. Survival energy is intense. Intensity blocks ease. Ease supports flow. Another reason neediness weakens asking is impatience. Neediness hates waiting. Waiting feels like threat. Threat activates fear. Fear weakens clarity. Another reason neediness weakens asking is over-attachment. Attachment creates tunnel vision. Tunnel vision blocks creativity. Creativity finds alternatives. Alternatives reduce pressure. Another reason neediness weakens asking is fear of loss. If you fear losing before you even have, your system stays tense. Tension blocks natural movement. Another reason neediness weakens asking is emotional exhaustion. Needing drains energy. Drained energy weakens persistence. Another reason neediness weakens asking is identity confusion. You confuse what you want with who you are. Who you are must stay separate. Another reason neediness weakens asking is lack of inner fullness. If you feel empty inside, you try to fill with outcomes. Outcomes cannot fill inner emptiness. Inner stability must come first. Another reason neediness weakens asking is comparison. Seeing others succeed can trigger desperation. Desperation weakens confidence. Another reason neediness weakens asking is scarcity mindset. Scarcity says, there is not enough. Scarcity creates fear. Fear blocks flow. Abundance mindset calms. Calm strengthens alignment. Another reason neediness weakens asking is emotional pressure on others. When you need someone to say yes, they feel it. Pressure creates resistance. Resistance leads to no. Another reason neediness weakens asking is loss of boundaries. When you are needy, you tolerate things you should not. This weakens self-respect. Weak self-respect weakens alignment. Another reason neediness weakens asking is emotional dependence. Dependence shifts power away from you. Strong asking comes from inner power. Another reason neediness weakens asking is fear of alternatives. If you believe this is your only chance, pressure skyrockets. Multiple paths reduce pressure. Another reason neediness weakens asking is attachment to validation. You want approval. Approval feels good. Dependence on approval weakens confidence. Another reason neediness weakens asking is emotional narrowing. Your world becomes small. Small world feels fragile. Fragility weakens asking. Another reason neediness weakens asking is lack of self-trust. You do not trust that you will be okay without it. Trust creates calm. Calm strengthens asking. Another reason neediness weakens asking is fear of being alone with discomfort. Discomfort is part of life. If you fear it, you cling to outcomes. Clinging weakens flow. Another reason neediness weakens asking is emotional identity of lack. If you see yourself as lacking, you approach life from deficit. Deficit energy weakens receiving. Another reason neediness weakens asking is urgency again. Urgency feels like pressure. Pressure blocks connection. Another reason neediness weakens asking is emotional collapse after no. If no feels like disaster, you avoid asking fully. Avoidance weakens growth. Another reason neediness weakens asking is loss of perspective. One outcome feels like everything. Perspective restores balance. Balance strengthens confidence. Another reason neediness weakens asking is fear of rejection. Fear of rejection makes you cling. Clinging weakens dignity. Dignity strengthens asking. Another reason neediness weakens asking is lack of emotional support. When you feel alone, you cling more. Support reduces neediness. Another reason neediness weakens asking is attachment to timeline. If you demand now, pressure rises. Allowing time reduces pressure. Another reason neediness weakens asking is lack of inner safety. If you do not feel safe inside, you seek safety outside. Outside safety is unstable. Inside safety is reliable. Another reason neediness weakens asking is emotional hunger. Hunger distorts choices. Fullness clarifies. Another reason neediness weakens asking is fear of missing identity. You think without this, you are nothing. Identity must be stable. Another reason neediness weakens asking is not trusting life to offer more than one path. Trust reduces desperation. Another reason neediness weakens asking is attachment to outcome instead of process. Process focus reduces pressure. Another reason neediness weakens asking is fear of starting over. Fear makes you cling. Another reason neediness weakens asking is emotional loneliness. Loneliness increases desperation. Connection with self reduces it. Another reason neediness weakens asking is believing happiness depends on outcome. Happiness must be internal. Another reason neediness weakens asking is fear of being behind. Behind thinking creates rush. Rush weakens clarity. Another reason neediness weakens asking is loss of self-worth again. Self-worth must not to depend on result. Another reason neediness weakens asking is not trusting your resilience. You survived before. You can survive again. Resilience reduces desperation. Another reason neediness weakens asking is fear of letting go. Letting go feels like giving up. It is not. It is releasing pressure. Another reason neediness weakens asking is confusing desire with survival. Survival energy is heavy. Desire energy can be light. Another reason neediness weakens asking is emotional rigidity. Rigid expectations create pressure. Flexibility reduces pressure. Another reason neediness weakens asking is attachment to story. Story like, if I do not get this, I failed. Stories create pressure. Rewrite story. Another reason neediness weakens asking is lack of emotional grounding. Grounding restores calm. Calm strengthens asking. Another reason neediness weakens asking is fear of disappointment again. Disappointment is survivable. Knowing this reduces neediness. Another reason neediness weakens asking is emotional dependence on timing. Timing pressure creates urgency. Another reason neediness weakens asking is not having other sources of meaning. If one goal holds all meaning, pressure rises. Multiple sources reduce pressure. Another reason neediness weakens asking is ignoring inner fulfillment. Fulfillment reduces desperation. Another reason neediness weakens asking is fear of trusting yourself. Trust reduces clinging. Another reason neediness weakens asking is emotional scarcity again. Scarcity mindset creates pressure. Another reason neediness weakens asking is not separating worth from outcome. Separate them. Another reason neediness weakens asking is emotional overfocus. Overfocus increases tension. Another reason neediness weakens asking is believing you must force results. Forcing creates resistance. Another reason neediness weakens asking is lack of emotional choice. Choice reduces desperation. Another reason neediness weakens asking is fear of being ordinary. Ordinary is fine. Another reason neediness weakens asking is emotional attachment to proving something. Proving creates pressure. Another reason neediness weakens asking is not trusting long-term process. Process reduces urgency. Another reason neediness weakens asking is emotional self-neglect. Care for yourself. Another reason neediness weakens asking is fear of calm. Calm feels unfamiliar to anxious systems. Learn to tolerate calm. Another reason neediness weakens asking is not trusting that life can bring multiple chances. Multiple chances reduce desperation. Another reason neediness weakens asking is emotional habit of grasping. Habits can change. Another reason neediness weakens asking is lack of self-compassion. Compassion reduces pressure. Another reason neediness weakens asking is not feeling whole without outcome. Wholeness must come first. When you let go of neediness, your asking becomes lighter. Lighter asking feels stronger. Not desperate, not heavy. Strong because it comes from wholeness. When you are whole, you can want without needing. When you can want without needing, your energy changes. Your tone changes. Your actions change. You become more attractive to opportunity. Not because of magic, because calm, grounded people make clearer choices. Clear choices lead to better results. That is how letting go of neediness strengthens asking. Not by removing desire, but by removing desperation. And when desperation is gone, your asking becomes aligned. Aligned asking is powerful, quiet, steady, strong. Chapter 9. Trusting timing without losing momentum. Many people lose belief not because they are wrong, but because things take longer than they expected. They ask, they act, then they wait. Waiting feels uncomfortable. The mind starts to question, is it working? Did I do something wrong? Maybe it is not meant to happen. This is where many people quit emotionally, not because they failed, but because timing tested their patience. Trusting timing does not mean doing nothing. It means staying engaged without forcing. There is a difference between patience and passivity. Passivity waits and hopes. Patience continues and trusts. Momentum lives in patience. Another important truth is this: most results are built quietly. Before something becomes visible, many invisible steps are happening. Skills are forming, connections are growing, understanding is deepening. If you judge progress only by what you see, you may miss what is building. Missing invisible progress weakens belief. Belief weakens action. Action weakens momentum. Trusting timing means trusting the unseen work. Another reason timing feels difficult is emotional urgency. Urgency says, it must happen now. Now thinking creates pressure. Pressure leads to rushed choices. Rushed choices often create setbacks. Setbacks increase doubt. Trusting timing allows better decisions. Better decisions protect momentum. Another reason timing tests you is comparison. You see others succeed faster. You think, why not me? Comparison distorts reality. You do not see their full journey. You only see highlights. Your path may be different. Different does not mean wrong. Trusting timing means trusting your path. Another reason timing feels heavy is fear of wasting time. You worry that if it does not happen soon, you are falling behind. This fear creates tension. Tension weakens clarity. Clarity is needed for good action. Trusting timing calms tension. Calm improves decision-making. Another reason timing challenges you is emotional impatience. Impatience feels like motivation, but it often creates burnout. Burnout weakens persistence. Persistence is required for results. Trusting timing protects energy. Another reason timing feels painful is attachment to deadlines. Deadlines can be useful, but emotional attachment to them creates pressure. If a deadline passes, you may lose belief. Trusting timing means allowing flexibility. Flexibility keeps you moving. Another reason timing feels uncertain is lack of feedback. When you do not see results, your mind fills the gap with doubt. Doubt is a story your mind tells. It is not always truth. Trusting timing means not believing every doubtful thought. Another reason timing feels hard is fear of being wrong. If it takes too long, you worry you chose the wrong goal. Sometimes goals need adjustment. Sometimes they need patience. Trusting timing means staying open to learning. Learning keeps momentum alive. Another reason timing feels heavy is emotional fatigue. Waiting while working is tiring. If you do not rest, fatigue becomes frustration. Frustration weakens belief. Rest supports patience. Another reason timing feels threatening is identity. If your identity depends on success, delay feels like personal failure. Separate identity from timing. You are not your timeline. Another reason timing challenges you is fear of hope. Long waits test hope. Hope feels risky, but hope is emotional fuel. Trusting timing means allowing hope to stay. Another reason timing feels hard is lack of visible reward. Without reward, motivation drops. Create your own rewards. Celebrate effort. Celebrate consistency. Celebration strengthens momentum. Another reason timing feels confusing is mixed signals. Some things work, some do not. Mixed results feel discouraging. Mixed results are normal. They are part of learning. Learning is progress. Another reason timing feels slow is unrealistic expectations. Many people underestimate how long growth takes. When expectations are unrealistic, patience collapses. Realistic expectations protect belief. Another reason timing feels stressful is pressure from others. People ask, is it working yet? This pressure increases doubt. Protect your process. Your process does not need approval. Another reason timing feels heavy is fear of missing opportunity. You think if it does not happen now, you will lose your chance. Most opportunities are not one time. Life offers many paths. Trusting timing includes trusting that. Another reason timing challenges you is over-monitoring. You constantly check for results. Checking creates anxiety. Anxiety weakens focus. Focus supports good action. Trusting timing means checking less and doing more. Another reason timing feels slow is underestimating preparation. Preparation often takes longer than expected. Long preparation prevents big mistakes. Big mistakes waste more time. Trusting timing protects quality. Another reason timing feels discouraging is emotional storytelling. You tell yourself stories like, this is never going to happen. Stories shape emotion. Emotion shapes action. Trusting timing means choosing better stories. Stories like, this is building, I am learning, progress is happening. Another reason timing feels heavy is fear of starting over. If this fails, you fear you wasted time. Time spent learning is not wasted. Skills stay with you. Trusting timing includes trusting that learning has value. Another reason timing feels hard is impatience with yourself. You want to be further. Beating yourself up weakens energy. Kindness preserves energy. Another reason timing feels uncertain is lack of control. You cannot control everything. Trying to control everything creates stress. Trusting timing means accepting what you cannot control. Acceptance reduces tension. Another reason timing feels slow is forgetting past growth. Look back. You have grown before. Growth took time then too. Remembering this restores patience. Another reason timing feels painful is emotional attachment to outcome again. When outcome equals happiness, delay feels unbearable. Separate happiness from outcome. This reduces pressure. Another reason timing feels heavy is lack of faith in process. Process is boring sometimes, but boring work builds strong foundations. Trusting timing means trusting boring work. Another reason timing feels discouraging is focusing on distance instead of direction. Distance feels big. Direction feels hopeful. Focus on direction. Another reason timing feels slow is neglecting momentum. If you stop small actions, momentum dies. Keep small actions alive. Small actions protect belief. Another reason timing feels confusing is changing goals too often. Frequent changes reset momentum. Trusting timing means staying long enough to see growth. Another reason timing feels heavy is fear of being judged for not succeeding yet. Judgment is external. Your process is internal. Protect your internal focus. Another reason timing feels difficult is forgetting that alignment includes waiting. Waiting is part of growth. Seeds grow underground first. Underground growth is still growth. Another reason timing feels slow is emotional impatience again. Impatience drains energy. Patience preserves it. Another reason timing feels heavy is focusing on lack. Lack focus increases frustration. Progress focus increases hope. Another reason timing feels challenging is forgetting that effort compounds. Small efforts add up. Compounding takes time. Trusting timing means trusting compounding. Another reason timing feels uncertain is lack of milestones. Create milestones. Milestones show progress. Another reason timing feels slow is fear of missing life while waiting. Do not pause life. Live while you build. Living keeps energy high. Another reason timing feels heavy is emotional tunnel vision. Tunnel vision reduces creativity. Creativity finds new paths. Another reason timing feels discouraging is ignoring feedback. Feedback helps you adjust. Adjustment speeds results. Trusting timing does not mean ignoring feedback. It means using it wisely. Another reason timing feels slow is over-attachment to one method. If one method is slow, try adjusting method. Trusting timing includes smart changes. Another reason timing feels heavy is emotional pressure from self-talk. Self-talk like, I should be further, change it to, I am building, language matters. Another reason timing feels uncertain is fear of giving up too early or too late. This fear creates indecision. Indecision drains energy. Trusting timing means committing to review points. Review and adjust. Do not quit emotionally every day. Another reason timing feels slow is forgetting that mastery takes time. Anything valuable takes time. Trusting timing respects value. Another reason timing feels heavy is emotional loneliness. Building can feel lonely. Find support. Support makes waiting easier. Another reason timing feels challenging is comparing behind the scenes to others' highlights. Highlights are not reality. Trust your own process. Another reason timing feels slow is fear of stagnation. If you are learning and acting, you are not stagnant. Another reason timing feels heavy is attachment to proving something. Proving creates pressure. Release proving. Focus on becoming. Another reason timing feels uncertain is lack of emotional grounding. Grounding restores calm. Calm improves patience. Another reason timing feels slow is ignoring small breakthroughs. Small breakthroughs signal progress. Notice them. Another reason timing feels heavy is fear of hope again. Hope feels risky. Hope is also fuel. Allow hope. Another reason timing feels challenging is not trusting your resilience. You can handle delays. You have before. Another reason timing feels slow is lack of reflection. Reflection shows growth. Another reason timing feels heavy is impatience with learning curve. Learning curves are slow at first, then faster. Trust curve. Another reason timing feels uncertain is emotional attachment to control. Release control. Focus on influence. Another reason timing feels slow is forgetting why you started. Reconnect to purpose. Purpose supports patience. Another reason timing feels heavy is emotional exhaustion again. Rest matters. Another reason timing feels challenging is not separating effort from outcome. Effort is under your control. Outcome is not fully. Focus on effort. Another reason timing feels slow is focusing on what is missing. Focus on what is building. Another reason timing feels heavy is fear of waiting, being a sign of failure. Waiting is often a sign of preparation. Another reason timing feels challenging is emotional impatience again. Return to breath. Another reason timing feels slow is forgetting that alignment includes endurance. Endurance builds strength. Another reason timing feels heavy is underestimating how much you are changing inside. Internal change is real progress. Another reason timing feels challenging is not trusting that momentum continues even when unseen. Momentum can be quiet. Another reason timing feels slow is emotional pressure to rush. Rush creates mistakes. Mistakes slow you down more. Trusting timing saves time long term. Another reason timing feels heavy is forgetting that you can enjoy now while building future. Enjoyment keeps energy high. Another reason timing feels challenging is fear of letting go of timeline identity. Timeline identity creates stress. Release it. Another reason timing feels slow is not measuring right things. Measure consistency. Measure effort, not just outcome. Another reason timing feels heavy is emotional overfocus on destination. Focus on journey. Journey builds capacity. Another reason timing feels challenging is lack of self-compassion. Be kind. Kindness supports endurance. Another reason timing feels slow is ignoring that trust is a skill. Trust grows with practice. Practice trusting timing. When you trust timing without losing momentum, you find balance. You do not rush. You do not freeze. You move steadily. You act. You adjust. You rest. You continue. This steady movement is powerful, not dramatic, not loud, but strong. When you trust timing and keep momentum, you stop fighting the process. You work with it. And when you work with the process, your asking becomes sustainable, not desperate, not impatient, aligned. And alignment over time is what turns effort into results. Not overnight, but naturally. That is how trusting timing without losing momentum protects your progress. Chapter 10. Speaking and acting as if it is possible. One of the strongest shifts you can make is this. You begin to speak and act as if what you want is possible, not guaranteed, not easy, but possible. This change may seem small, but it changes everything. When you speak as if something is possible, your tone changes, your body language changes, your energy changes, your choices change. Possibility creates movement. Impossibility creates freezing. Many people say they believe, but they speak with doubt. They say things like, "It probably will not work. I am just trying. I do not expect much." These words protect them from disappointment, but they also protect them from success. Your words train your mind. When you speak doubt, your mind prepares for failure. When you speak possibility, your mind prepares for action. Preparation changes outcomes. Another important truth is this. Acting as if it is possible does not mean lying to yourself. It means allowing room for success. Room for success creates space for effort. If you secretly believe it cannot work, your effort becomes half-hearted. Half-hearted effort creates half results. Possibility thinking supports full effort. Another reason this matters is emotional tone. When you believe something is possible, you feel lighter. Lightness supports creativity. Creativity finds paths. Paths create opportunities. When you believe something is impossible, you feel heavy. Heaviness reduces creativity. Reduced creativity limits options. Another reason acting as if it is possible matters is courage. Possibility gives you courage to try. Without possibility, trying feels pointless. Pointless effort drains energy. Possibility gives effort meaning. Another reason this shift matters is how others respond to you. People sense belief. They may not know why, but they feel it. Belief sounds confident. Doubt sounds unsure. Confidence invites support. Uncertainty invites hesitation. Another reason acting as if it is possible matters is identity. Each time you act from possibility, you reinforce a new identity. I am someone who believes things can work. This identity shapes future choices. Another reason this matters is emotional resilience. When you act from possibility, setbacks hurt less. You see them as part of process. When you act from doubt, setbacks feel like proof. Proof kills motivation. Possibility protects motivation. Another reason this shift matters is preparation. If you think something is possible, you prepare seriously, you learn, you practice, you improve. If you think it is not possible, you do not prepare. Lack of preparation becomes self-fulfilling. Another reason acting as if it is possible matters is focus. Possibility focuses your attention on solutions. Doubt focuses your attention on problems. Solutions move you forward. Problems make you stuck. Another reason this shift matters is emotional safety. Possibility creates hope. Hope creates emotional energy. Emotional energy fuels persistence. Persistent increases chances. Another reason acting as if it is possible matters is how you handle rejection. If you believe in possibility, rejection becomes information. If you believe in impossibility, rejection becomes identity. Identity-based rejection is painful. Information-based rejection is useful. Another reason this shift matters is learning speed. Possibility mindset learns faster. It sees mistakes as feedback. Doubt mindset sees mistakes as failure. Failure mindset slows learning. Another reason acting as if it is possible matters is consistency. Possibility supports daily action. Doubt weakens daily action. Daily action compounds. Compounding creates results. Another reason this shift matters is emotional courage. Possibility allows you to be seen trying. Being seen trying is brave. Bravery builds confidence. Another reason acting as if it is possible matters is inner dialogue. Your inner voice becomes more supportive. Supportive voice strengthens belief. Harsh voice strengthens doubt. Another reason this shift matters is how you use time. Possibility makes you invest time. Doubt makes you waste time. Time invested builds skill. Time wasted builds regret. Another reason acting as if it is possible matters is trust in yourself. Each time you try from belief, you build self-trust. Self-trust strengthens alignment. Another reason this shift matters is emotional balance. Possibility reduces fear, not removes it, reduces it. Reduced fear improves decision-making. Another reason acting as if it is possible matters is flexibility. Possibility allows adjustment. Doubt creates rigidity. Rigidity blocks growth. Another reason this shift matters is momentum. Possibility creates forward motion. Motion creates energy. Energy sustains effort. Another reason acting as if it is possible matters is reducing inner conflict. When you believe, your system aligns. When you doubt, your system splits. Split energy weakens power. Aligned energy strengthens it. Another reason this shift matters is patience. Possibility allows waiting with purpose. Doubt makes waiting feel like wasting. Purposeful waiting preserves motivation. Another reason acting as if it is possible matters is emotional ownership. You take responsibility for trying. Trying gives you dignity. Dignity strengthens confidence. Another reason this shift matters is how you handle uncertainty. Possibility accepts uncertainty. Doubt demands certainty. Certainty rarely comes. Accepting uncertainty keeps you moving. Another reason acting as if it is possible matters is how you frame challenges. Challenges become training. Training builds strength. Doubt frames challenges as proof. Proof weakens effort. Another reason this shift matters is emotional expansion. Possibility allows you to think bigger. Bigger thinking opens more options. Another reason acting as if it is possible matters is self-respect. You respect your own dreams enough to try. Respect builds inner authority. Another reason this shift matters is how you speak to others. Your language becomes more confident. Confident language attracts opportunity. Another reason acting as if it is possible matters is breaking old patterns. Old patterns say, do not try too hard. New pattern says, give it a real chance. Real chances create real results. Another reason this shift matters is emotional safety with failure. If it is possible, failure is part of path. If it is impossible, failure feels final. Final thinking kills growth. Another reason acting as if it is possible matters is optimism grounded in action, not blind optimism. Active optimism. Active optimism tries. Another reason this shift matters is your nervous system. Belief calms the system. Calm system makes better choices. Another reason acting as if it is possible matters is focus on what you can control. You cannot control outcomes. You can control effort. Possibility focuses on effort. Another reason this shift matters is reducing helplessness. Possibility restores agency. Agency is power. Another reason acting as if it is possible matters is breaking fear of disappointment. Disappointment becomes a risk you accept. Acceptance frees energy. Another reason this shift matters is how you measure success. Success becomes effort plus learning, not just outcome. This reduces pressure. Another reason acting as if it is possible matters is emotional consistency. Belief stabilizes mood. Stable mood supports persistence. Another reason this shift matters is inner alignment. Thoughts, emotions, and actions agree more. Agreement strengthens direction. Another reason acting as if it is possible matters is courage again. Courage is acting without guarantees. Possibility supports courage. Another reason this shift matters is respect for your future self. Future you benefits from you trying now. Another reason acting as if it is possible matters is reducing regret. Trying protects peace. Not trying creates questions. Questions linger. Another reason this shift matters is allowing life to surprise you. Surprises happen when you stay open. Closed minds miss surprises. Another reason acting as if it is possible matters is identity upgrade. You become someone who tries. Trying people grow. Another reason this shift matters is emotional clarity. Possibility clarifies priorities. Another reason acting as if it is possible matters is strengthening expectation again. Expectation guides action. Another reason this shift matters is breaking fear-based habits. Possibility creates new habits. Another reason acting as if it is possible matters is alignment with growth. Growth requires belief. Another reason this shift matters is trusting process again. Process needs belief to continue. Another reason acting as if it is possible matters is choosing hope with action. Hope without action is weak. Action without hope is heavy. Hope with action is powerful. Another reason this shift matters is reducing inner sabotage. Belief weakens sabotage. Another reason acting as if it is possible matters is learning to live in possibility. Possibility is a mindset. Mindsets shape lives. When you speak and act as if it is possible, you give yourself permission to try fully. Trying fully is rare. Trying fully changes outcomes. Not always instantly, not always perfectly, but consistently over time. When you live from possibility, your asking becomes more than words. It becomes behavior. It becomes preparation. It becomes presence. And presence with possibility is powerful. Not because you force results, but because you finally give yourself a real chance. That is how acting as if it is possible turns asking into living. And living is where real change happens. Chapter 11. Allowing yourself to receive without guilt. Many people believe they want good things, but when those things get close, they feel uncomfortable. They hesitate, they downplay, they push away. This is not because they do not want it. It is because receiving can trigger guilt. Guilt says, do I deserve this? Is it okay for me to have this? What will others think? This quiet guilt blocks flow. Flow supports receiving. Allowing yourself to receive is a skill. It is not automatic for everyone. Some people were taught to give, not receive. Some were taught to be small. Some were taught that wanting more is wrong. These lessons stay in the nervous system. Even when the mind says yes, the body may say no. This creates inner conflict. Conflict weakens alignment. Alignment is required for receiving. Another important truth is this: receiving does not take from others. Many people feel that if they receive, someone else must lose. This belief creates guilt. But life is not always a zero-sum game. Growth often creates more value. When you receive, you often create more opportunity for yourself and for others. Another reason guilt blocks receiving is fear of standing out. If you are used to blending in, receiving more makes you visible. Visibility can feel unsafe. Your system may slow you down, not because you are wrong, but because visibility is new. Allowing yourself to receive means allowing yourself to be seen. Another reason guilt appears is loyalty to old roles. If you were the helper, the strong one, the one who struggled. Receiving can feel like breaking a rule. Rules may be outdated. Growth requires new rules. Another reason guilt blocks receiving is fear of judgment. You imagine others saying, "Who do you think you are?" This imagined judgment becomes emotional truth. But imagined voices are not always real. Often, they are echoes of the past. Allowing yourself to receive means separating past voices from present reality. Another reason guilt appears is identity. If your identity is built on sacrifice, receiving feels wrong, but sacrifice identity can become self-limiting. You can care for others and still receive. These are not opposites. Another reason guilt blocks receiving is fear of responsibility. Receiving more may mean managing more. Managing more feels heavy. Your system may block to protect you. Protection is not wisdom, it is habit. Habits can change. Another reason guilt appears is fear of losing connection. You worry that if you grow, you will outgrow others. This fear is real emotionally, but growth does not have to mean disconnection. You can grow and still care. Another reason guilt blocks receiving is shame. Shame says, "I am not enough." If you carry shame, good things feel undeserved. Shame is a learned emotion. It is not truth. Allowing yourself to receive means questioning shame. Another reason guilt appears is comparison. You see others struggling. You think, "Why should I get more?" Compassion is good. Self-denial is not required. You can have compassion and still receive. Another reason guilt blocks receiving is emotional debt. You feel you owe something. Owing becomes a block. Receiving does not always require repayment. Sometimes receiving is part of balance. Another reason guilt appears is fear of expectation. If you receive once, people may expect more from you. Expectation feels heavy, but expectations can be managed with boundaries. Blocking receiving is not the only solution. Another reason guilt blocks receiving is fear of failure after receiving. You worry that if you receive and then fail, it will be worse. This fear blocks opportunity, but failure after trying is part of growth. Another reason guilt appears is internalized scarcity. Scarcity says, "There is not enough." If you take, you harm others. Abundance thinking says, "Growth can create more." Another reason guilt blocks receiving is lack of practice. If you are not used to receiving, it feels awkward. Awkwardness fades with practice. Practice makes receiving normal. Another reason guilt appears is emotional loyalty to past struggle. If you struggled before, receiving now feels like betrayal of that story, but you are allowed to change your story. Another reason guilt blocks receiving is fear of success changing relationships. Some relationships may shift. Change is uncomfortable. Blocking growth to protect comfort keeps you small. Another reason guilt appears is misunderstanding humility. Humility does not mean refusing good things. Humility means staying grounded. You can be grounded and still receive. Another reason guilt blocks receiving is fear of being envied. Envy can be uncomfortable, but you cannot shrink to manage others' emotions. That is not your responsibility. Another reason guilt appears is emotional habit of giving more than taking. Giving is beautiful. Balance is healthier. Another reason guilt blocks receiving is not trusting that you can handle it. You doubt your capacity. Capacity grows by receiving and learning. Avoiding receiving keeps capacity small. Another reason guilt appears is inner critic. The inner critic says, "You did not earn this." Earning is not always the rule of life. Sometimes opportunity is timing. Sometimes it is connection. Sometimes it is readiness. Another reason guilt blocks receiving is emotional fear of happiness. Happiness can feel unsafe if you are used to stress. Stress feels familiar. Familiar feels safe. Safe is not always healthy. Another reason guilt appears is confusing worth with struggle. If you believe worth comes from struggle, ease feels wrong. You must update this belief. Worth does not require pain. Another reason guilt blocks receiving is fear of losing control. Receiving may put you in new situations. New situations feel uncertain. Uncertainty triggers guilt and fear. Another reason guilt appears is fear of disappointing others. If you grow, others may feel left behind. You cannot live your life to protect others from their feelings. Another reason guilt blocks receiving is emotional conditioning. If you are praised for being selfless, receiving feels selfish. Self-care and self-growth are not selfish. They are necessary. Another reason guilt appears is lack of self-approval. If you do not approve of yourself, you seek permission from others. Waiting for permission blocks receiving. Give yourself permission. Another reason guilt blocks receiving is fear of being judged for success. Judgment happens in life. You cannot avoid it by staying small. Another reason guilt appears is fear of visibility again. Visibility triggers old memories. Memories are not current danger. Another reason guilt blocks receiving is attachment to comfort zone identity. Comfort zone identity says, "This is who I am." Receiving challenges identity. Identity change feels scary. Another reason guilt appears is emotional debt to family or past. You feel you must stay where you are. You can honor your past and still grow. Another reason guilt blocks receiving is misunderstanding fairness. Fairness does not mean everyone stays equal. Fairness means everyone has chance to grow. Another reason guilt appears is fear of being misunderstood. Misunderstanding is part of life. You cannot shrink to avoid it. Another reason guilt blocks receiving is inner conflict between gratitude and desire. You think you must choose. You can be grateful and still want more. Another reason guilt appears is fear of joy. Joy feels vulnerable. If joy is taken away, pain feels worse. So you avoid joy. Avoiding joy blocks receiving. Another reason guilt blocks receiving is emotional memory of loss. If you lost things before, receiving now feels risky. Risk is part of life. Another reason guilt appears is habit of minimizing yourself. Minimizing feels safe. Expanding feels risky. Another reason guilt blocks receiving is fear of new responsibility again. Responsibility can be learned. Another reason guilt appears is lack of self-compassion. If you are harsh with yourself, you block good things. Compassion opens the door. Another reason guilt blocks receiving is emotional belief that others matter more. Others matter. You also matter. Another reason guilt appears is fear of stepping into power. Power changes dynamics. Dynamics changing feels scary. Another reason guilt blocks receiving is attachment to being the helper. Helpers also deserve help. Another reason guilt appears is emotional pattern of self-denial. Self-denial becomes identity. Identity can change. Another reason guilt blocks receiving is not practicing acceptance. When something good comes, say thank you. Do not explain it away. Another reason guilt appears is fear of expectations again. Expectations can be negotiated. Blocking receiving is not necessary. Another reason guilt blocks receiving is emotional habit of saying no to yourself. Practice saying yes to yourself. Another reason guilt appears is belief that receiving makes you arrogant. Receiving does not make you arrogant. Attitude does. You can receive with humility. Another reason guilt blocks receiving is fear of being different. Difference is part of growth. Another reason guilt appears is emotional loyalty to pain. Pain becomes familiar. Ease feels strange. Strange becomes guilt. Another reason guilt blocks receiving is lack of inner safety. Inner safety allows receiving. Another reason guilt appears is fear of being happy when others are not. You are allowed to be happy. Your happiness does not harm others. Another reason guilt blocks receiving is emotional confusion between deserving and worth. Worth is inherent. Deserving is a story. Another reason guilt appears is habit of shrinking to fit. Growth means expanding. Expanding feels risky. Another reason guilt blocks receiving is not trusting that you can give back in healthy ways. Receiving does not stop giving. It can increase your capacity to give. Another reason guilt appears is fear of being judged by your own standards. Update your standards. Another reason guilt blocks receiving is emotional over-identification with humility. Humility does not mean refusing good. Another reason guilt appears is attachment to comfort of familiar struggle. Struggle feels known. Ease feels unknown. Another reason guilt blocks receiving is not practicing self-approval. Approve yourself. Another reason guilt appears is fear of letting go of old limitations. Old limitations feel safe. New possibilities feel risky. Another reason guilt blocks receiving is emotional habit of apologizing for success. Stop apologizing. Another reason guilt appears is not allowing yourself to enjoy wins. Enjoying wins builds confidence. Another reason guilt blocks receiving is fear of loss again. Loss is part of life. Avoiding joy does not prevent loss. Another reason guilt appears is lack of emotional permission again. Permission is key. Give it to yourself. Allowing yourself to receive without guilt is not selfish. It is aligned. When you receive, you show your system that good things are safe. Safety reduces resistance. Reduced resistance improves alignment. Improved alignment supports action. Action supports results. Receiving becomes easier, not because you force it, but because you stop blocking it. When you allow yourself to receive, your asking becomes lighter. Your energy becomes calmer. Your identity expands. You no longer fight good things. You accept them. And when you accept good things, you build a new relationship with success. A relationship without guilt. A relationship with permission. That is how allowing yourself to receive changes your life, not by taking from others, but by finally allowing yourself to have what matches who you are becoming. Chapter 12. Living in alignment. So asking becomes natural. At the beginning, asking may have felt like effort, something you had to think about, something you had to manage. Now it becomes something different. It becomes natural. Not because you stopped wanting, but because you stopped fighting yourself. Alignment is not a technique. It is a way of living. It is how you think, how you feel, how you act, how you see yourself. When these match, asking feels simple. You no longer force belief. You no longer fight doubt. You no longer push against yourself. You move as one. Living in alignment means your inner world and outer actions agree. You say what you mean. You do what you say. You expect in a healthy way. You act with respect for yourself. This creates inner trust. Inner trust is powerful. When you trust yourself, you stop second-guessing every move. Second-guessing drains energy. Trust restores it. Another important truth is this. Aligned people do not beg life. They participate with life. They show up. They prepare. They adjust. They stay open. They are not passive. They are not desperate. They are present. Presence is a form of power. When you are present, you notice opportunities. When you notice opportunities, you can respond. Response is stronger than reaction. Reaction comes from fear. Response comes from clarity. Clarity is alignment. Another important idea is that aligned asking feels calm. It does not feel rushed. It does not feel heavy. It feels steady. Steady people are trusted by others, by themselves. Trust opens doors. Another important idea is that alignment reduces inner noise. Inner noise is doubt, conflict, overthinking. When noise is low, your decisions become clearer. Clear decisions lead to better outcomes. Another important idea is that aligned people recover faster. When something does not work, they do not collapse. They learn, they adjust, they continue. Recovery speed matters more than perfection. Perfection is slow, recovery is fast. Alignment supports recovery. Another important idea is that alignment protects energy. When you stop fighting yourself, you have more energy. More energy means more focus. More focus means better action. Better action increases results. Another important idea is that aligned people stop proving. They do not try to show worth. They assume worth. Assumed worth changes posture, changes tone, changes choices. Worthiness is quiet confidence. Another important idea is that alignment changes how you hear no. No is no longer a personal attack. It becomes information. Information helps you adjust. Adjustment is power. Another important idea is that aligned people stop chasing. They move toward what fits. What fits feels lighter. Light movement lasts longer. Another important idea is that alignment builds patience. Not lazy patience, active patience. You keep moving while trusting timing. This balance protects momentum. Another important idea is that alignment improves boundaries. You say yes when it fits. You say no when it does not. Clear boundaries protect energy. Protected energy supports growth. Another important idea is that aligned people become emotionally safer. They are less reactive, more steady. People feel that safety attracts opportunity. Another important idea is that alignment changes identity. You no longer see yourself as someone who hopes. You see yourself as someone who acts. Action identity is powerful. Another important idea is that alignment makes receiving easier. You stop blocking. You stop shrinking. You allow good things to land. Landing builds confidence. Another important idea is that alignment simplifies life. Fewer inner arguments, fewer mixed signals. Simplicity feels calm. Calm improves clarity. Another important idea is that alignment reduces fear of the future. You trust your ability to handle what comes. Trust reduces anxiety. Reduced anxiety improves choices. Another important idea is that alignment makes asking quiet. You do not announce. You prepare. Preparation is asking in action. Another important idea is that alignment creates dignity. You do not beg. You do not hide. You stand in your direction. Direction creates strength. Another important idea is that alignment turns effort into flow. Flow is not luck. It is reduced resistance. When resistance is low, movement feels easier. Another important idea is that alignment builds self-respect. You take your own life seriously. Self-respect changes how you show up. Another important idea is that alignment makes growth feel more natural. Growth still has discomfort, but it feels meaningful. Meaning supports endurance. Another important idea is that alignment creates emotional stability. You are less controlled by highs and lows. Stability supports consistency. Consistency supports results. Another important idea is that alignment reduces self-sabotage. When you and your goals agree, there is less inner fight. Less fight means more progress. Another important idea is that alignment strengthens trust in life, not blind trust, functional trust. Trust that effort matters. Trust that learning matters. Trust that growth is possible. Another important idea is that alignment changes how you see waiting. Waiting becomes building. Building feels act. Another important idea is that alignment changes your relationship with desire. Desire becomes guidance, not desperation. Guidance is useful. Desperation is heavy. Another important idea is that alignment improves emotional honesty. You admit what you want. You admit what you fear. Honesty reduces inattention. Another important idea is that alignment builds inner authority. You become your own permission. Permission removes hesitation. Another important idea is that alignment allows you to outgrow old limits. Limits were once protection. Now they can be released. Release creates space. Another important idea is that alignment makes your asking less about words. It becomes about how you live, how you prepare, how you choose, how you persist. Life responds more to that than to what you say. Another important idea is that alignment makes peace with uncertainty. You do not need guarantees to move. Movement builds confidence. Another important idea is that alignment makes you more resilient. You bounce back faster. Resilience keeps you in the game. Another important idea is that alignment makes you more attractive to opportunity, not magically, practically, because you are clearer, more consistent, more ready. Another important idea is that alignment makes success feel less shocking. It feels earned. It feels appropriate. Another important idea is that alignment helps you trust yourself again. Trust is the foundation. Another important idea is that alignment makes asking unnecessary sometimes. You move so clearly that life responds. Response replaces request. Another important idea is that alignment makes your life simpler. Less inner drama, more quiet confidence. Another important idea is that alignment makes growth sustainable, not rushed, not forced, steady. Another important idea is that alignment becomes your new normal. At first it feels intentional. Later it feels natural. Natural alignment is powerful, not loud, not dramatic, quiet, consistent, strong. This is where everything you learned comes together, not as rules, as a way of being. You think with clarity. You feel with permission. You act with consistency. You expect with balance. When these match, asking becomes part of living. You no longer wonder if you are aligned. You feel it. Life feels less like resistance, more like direction. This does not mean everything will always work. It means you will always move. And movement is what changes lives. Not one request, not one moment, but a way of living. When you live in alignment, asking becomes natural, receiving becomes possible, growth becomes steady, and your life becomes a reflection of who you are becoming, not who you were. That is the real power. Not in forcing life, but in finally standing with yourself. When you stand with yourself, your direction becomes clear, and when direction is clear, results have space to grow, not guaranteed, not instant, but real, and real is better than perfect. That is how living in alignment makes asking unnecessary, because your life itself becomes the request, and your actions become the answer.